Are you enthralled by the exploits of She-Hulk Attorney-at-Law? Are you dazzled by a studio resurrecting the corpse of Toy Story, turning it into a joyless CGI spectacle where Buzz Lightyear's senior commander is a black lesbian? And are you excited about this shampoo commercial elf and this Slim Shady Sauron? Neither am I, so there's a chance you might like entertainment made for grown-ups and be as keen as I am about the official teaser trailer for the Christopher Nolan directed film Oppenheimer, starring Cillian Murphy. Murphy leads an ensemble cast as J. Robert Oppenheimer, who was credited with being the father of the atomic bomb for his role in the Manhattan Project, the World War II undertaking that developed the first nuclear weapons. The film follows the theoretical physicist during his time as the director of the Los Alamos laboratory during the Manhattan Project. The film promises to be a beautiful spectacle using a combination of IMAX 65mm and 65mm large format film. It is also the first film to shoot sections in IMAX black and white analog photography. The massive ensemble cast includes Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, Rami Malek, Josh Hartnett, Jack Quaid, Matthew Modine, Aidan Ehrenreich, Kenneth Branagh, and a brief scene from Gary Oldman. Many of these actors and actresses took a hefty pay cut just because they wanted to be involved in such a project. A 1945 Life article estimated that before the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings, probably no more than a few dozen men in the entire country knew the full meaning of the Manhattan Project, and perhaps only 1,000 others even were aware that work on atoms was involved. The magazine wrote that the more than 100,000 others employed with the project worked like moles in the dark, warned that disclosing the project's secrets was punishable by 10 years in prison. They saw enormous quantities of raw materials enter factories with nothing coming out, and monitored dials and switches while behind thick concrete walls mysterious reactions took place. The film is an exciting proposition because it may very well maximize Christopher Nolan's strengths and minimize his more indulgent tendencies. There will not be the overstimulating action set pieces and exhaustingly overextended third acts that weigh down the otherwise excellent Batman trilogy. There will also unlikely be the overly demanding theoretical ideas of Tenet or the elaborate constructs of time and Dunkirk. Nolan may have some challenging meta aspects up his sleeve after all, but my guess is such innovations, which could feel a little indulgent and even alienating in his prior films, might be downplayed here, and he might opt for the more conventional parameters and linear storytelling of a biopic. The other criticism of Nolan is a kind of coldness, where spectacle and complex ideas often supersede character development or emotional resonances and investment. The wonderful promise of Oppenheimer is that Nolan's cinematic emotional restraint, brilliance, fastidiousness, love of densely complex projects on a vast scale, are characteristics quite evocative of his subject, and these evocations may have played a half-conscious part in his selecting this material. Moreover, the subject matter doesn't need a director to stoke up a feeling of drama or emotional engagement or stakes. The Manhattan Project is among the highest stakes episodes in world history, and the film will therefore already be deeply imbued with tensions, pathos, drama, and every viewer will inevitably feel the dramatic push and pull of urgency and wanting the protagonists to succeed, and to see the efforts culminate in an event of historical world-changing significance, whilst also feeling a pull or cross-currents of feeling of dread, solemnity, and poignancy about the consequences of that success. The film will likely succeed because of a core dichotomy, essentially a contrast, the immense emotional involvement and scale of human drama, and the viewer's instinctual need to latch on to a protagonist, expecting them to capture and express that scale of human drama. But Oppenheimer, played by Cillian Murphy, being restrained, methodical, elusive, subdued, and the film deriving much of its power from that discrepancy, that interesting inadequacy. This, I expect, will be mirrored by the discrepancy between persona and visuals. Oppenheimer's restraint and intellectual application, his physical stillness, contrasted with visuals of swirling and billowing fire, the eruption of sheer wild atomic power. Taken even further, there will be the audience's unsettled feelings about undreamt-of destruction loosed upon the world, the sudden ability of mankind to unleash cataclysmic, apocalyptic power, and the same interesting inadequacy of Oppenheimer as an expressive force of morality to offer perspective or moral catharsis. Rather, we have a taciturn, somewhat unknowable figure, so practically minded as to be somewhat removed from speculation on the implications. Therefore, because of these discrepancies, this lack we would normally have fulfilled by a conventional protagonist, he will, quite likely, come across as slightly otherworldly, compelling exactly for his ambivalences and restraint.
I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of